In this video, I will give you some advice on how to build your portfolio to showcase your skills in Adobe Illustrator. We covered a lot of things in this course and we spent a lot of time creating things, and these initial exercises are great to get you started. But now it is time for you to explore your own creative ideas and start creating your own illustrations and designs. As you discovered, Illustrator is used in many different areas, and you won't have to be good at all of them. It is important to figure out already at the beginning of your career what you want to specialize in. Do you want to be a product designer working on packaging of products? Do you want to be a logo designer working on clients' brand guides? Do you want to be an illustrator or pattern designer? The choice is yours to make, but please try not to be a jack of all trades. Instead, focus your time and energy into one or maximum two of these areas to get really great in them with practice. It is better to be known for a great and unique style in a certain design field than to be the guy or girl who dabbles in everything. You might be wondering what can you put in your portfolio if you never work for real clients using Illustrator. Luckily, that is not an issue, as you can use your personal project in a portfolio, as long as they showcase your skills and style. Make sure that you are very selective and only include your very best work, and also keep in mind that you are most likely to get the type of work that you present in your portfolio. Don't include anything that you are not keen on doing in the future, even if you have plenty of examples of it from previous jobs. In the past, printed portfolios were the only way to go and see clients, so all creatives were running around with massive folders. Luckily, in the digital age, we have it easy, as we only need an online portfolio, and the best place to build it is on Adobe's very own creative community site called Behance. Your first step should be to set up a profile on it if you haven't done it already. Once you have a Behance account created with the same Adobe ID you are using for your Creative Cloud subscription, you will be able to upload and share your finished artwork or even your work in progress. So let me show you how this works. First thing that you need to check is whether you have all the artwork you wish to publish in separate artboards. For this, the artboard tool is the best. That's Shift-O, the keyboard shortcut. And it's not only important to have the artboard saved, but also to make sure that they are named correctly. So you can see this one here on the right, at the moment, doesn't really have a proper name. So I'm going to use the options bar and rename it. According to the other ones, I'm going to type in InDesign Since. So that is going to be the file name once I save it. And then I can go to the File menu and choose Export for Screens. This is the feature we discussed in the previous chapter, so you should be familiar with it. And under artboards, I can see all my 3 artboards are selected already. I prefer to use JPEG 80 for uploading the images, which is a very good high quality JPEG, and the scale I normally set to 1400 pixels. That is because Behance supports that size. The only limitation is that you need to make sure your images are not above 50 megabytes each. And you can choose, of course, PNGs as well, in case you wish to keep transparency in your artwork. But when you're ready, you just decide where you want to save your work and then click on Export Artboard. So these are my images that I can upload. And normally what I would do is to go to the Creative Cloud application, and under the Community tab, I can choose Add Work. This takes me to my Behance account in a browser, where I can choose Add Work. Once I'm in the project editor, I just have to use the Upload Files option and select those 3 images, choose Open, and they will be loaded into the project straight away, where I can decide to add captions under the images and description before it, or even adjust the layout if I want to. But I'm going to go and click on Continue, just to show you that the next step would be to set up the cover image and give this project a title. So I'm just going to call this Adobe Since, and that will be fine for my cover image. I can click on Crop and Continue, and that's when I get to the final step, where I can add information like what tools I used. Here I can just type in Illustrator. There it is, and edit. And it is definitely worth adding as much information as you can, especially for the discoverability. You need to add keywords and a description for the project to make sure that people will be able to find your work. I'm not going to publish this now, I'm just going to hit save, but I can give you a preview of how this would look like once it's up on Behance. And before I move on, I just wanted to mention that it used to be even easier to share work from Illustrator because there was a file share on Behance option. And for some odd reason, Adobe decided to remove this with the release of this highlighted update. Not that it is so difficult to do it the way I showed it to you, so it cannot be an excuse for holding back your work. Once you manage to have at least 5 projects uploaded to your portfolio on Behance, you must try out Adobe Portfolio, which is a dedicated service to present your uploaded work in an even more professional and customizable layout. To learn more about this option, go to myportfolio.com, and as long as you have an active CC subscription, you will be entitled to use this feature, and you can even connect your own custom domain name to your portfolio site. My one, for example, is perhiniak.com, and you can see using a unique domain name makes it look even more professional and easier for clients or employers to find your work. Another useful tip is to always have your work handy, even if there is no internet connection. The way you can prepare for these situations is by downloading and setting up the app called Display. You can have this on your smartphone or tablet or both, which will show the same selection of work as your Behance account even when the device is offline. You will only need this app to be online while syncing changes from your Behance account onto the device. Lastly, I wanted to mention that one of the biggest pitfalls of a potential creative career is being shy or scared to show and share your work. Remind yourself that every famous artist started with the basics and it took them years or more likely decades to get recognized. The biggest mistake is holding on to your work, not sharing or showing it until you feel like you are good enough. You will soon realize that most artists, no matter how great and well known they are, all feel like they are still not good enough. But they were brave enough to show their work early on in their career to get criticism and feedback from their teachers, peers, friends, colleagues, etc. So if you haven't started sharing your work, now would be the best time to do so.